You know what else doesn't spark joy? A nasty girl like you walking around. Stop ignoring me. Look at me. Walking around and howling and meowing whenever I leave the room. Talk about separation anxiety. Stop being so needy. Okay, I know, I've made a whole bunch of like sarcastic comments and jokes about the whole Marie Kondo thing in the last 2 videos and about things sparking joy, but I do think that she has some pretty good points about realizing what you do and you don't need / want amongst your stuff. So today I've gone through and I've collected 10 items that I know definitely don't spark joy for me in my makeup collection. So I know a lot of people do decluttering videos. For me, this is a little bit different to like a decluttering, because for me a decluttering means that you go through, for me at least, like I go through, I double check what is really old and maybe expired. I go through and remove, let's say, duplicates, or if I've got like different shades of the same product and I only want 1 or 2, and I go through and I get rid of stuff that I know that I don't use. Today, this is about products that are in my collection which just don't wow me, and products that I know that I don't get any use out of, and essentially are just taking up like really kind of sought after real estate in my collection. A couple of these products are going to go into the bin because they are pretty close to, not expiry, but they have been used and I wouldn't feel comfortable passing them on. But a lot of these products have been barely touched and will just go to friends and family that might get a little bit more use out of them. Okay, so we're going to go through, we're going to have a look at, I think there's actually more than 10, but I'm just saying 10 items that no longer spark joy for me. I'm doing like the hands and everything. So the first item is something that I purchased myself. I think most of these items are, and it's the Daiso Sponge and Puff Cleanser, but it's actually the green version. So this is the one that they replaced the pink version with, or the original version, and then a lot of people said they didn't like this one, and therefore they replaced it. They went back to the original formula. So I've got a full bottle of this stuff here, and I'm going to give it away to someone who might use it. It does work, but to me, I've got one that works better, so why don't I use that one? So I am getting rid of the Daiso sponge and brush cleaner, the new / old formula. I don't even know what to say. So the second item is a foundation. It's also something that I purchased, and I purchased it in Hawaii last year, so it's probably getting a little bit old. But this is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Foundation, and I'm not getting rid of this because it doesn't work. I'm getting rid of this because I have quite a few other foundations, and I feel like this foundation is a great foundation for the price. So what I mean by that is that if you are really on a budget, there is absolutely nothing wrong with this foundation. It does the job, it lasts a good amount of time, it does smell pretty, I won't say toxic, but it's pretty strong smelling, but it's not my favorite, and I don't want to keep things that are just good because of the price. I want to keep things regardless of whether they're expensive or inexpensive because they're great. So this is a year old, and it still smells like it originally did. I won't say it smells good because it doesn't, but it still smells like it originally did, and it hasn't changed color or changed consistency, and there doesn't seem to be a use by thing on it. So I'm going to pass it on and just let whoever takes it know that it's been open for a while. The next item is this really tiny little compact from Smashbox. And again, there is absolutely nothing wrong with these products. There's a banana powder, it's a little bit hard to see in this light, a contour and a bronzer. Like I said, absolutely nothing wrong with this product. It's a great product. I adore Smashbox, but I just don't use this product. I don't take it with me when I travel. It's a perfect travel size, but I don't take it with me when I travel, and I don't use it at home because the pans are literally so small. So this is like a smallish blending brush, and you can kind of get in there, but if I want to get, let's say, a cheek brush in there, it's far too small to actually pick up just that one color. So again, it's a great product. If somebody uses it for a travel palette, then all the more power to them, but I just don't use it. So the next item is actually 4 small items, and they're my little collection of Clinique eyeshadow palettes. So I've got a duo here, a trio here. This one was a little small gift with purchase, and then some purple shades there. And I used to use a lot of Clinique. I think Clinique was probably one of the first, like in Australia, that's kind of a higher end brand in terms of price. I know in the States it's not as high end. But I never reach for these because I've got so many eyeshadow palettes, and I tend to, if I only want to do a look with 1 or 2 shades, I'll just use like a couple of shades in a palette. And I don't, again, these would be great to travel with, but I don't take them traveling with me. So I don't think, I don't know, like I don't think Clinique do bad makeup in the slightest, but I tend to just kind of stick to their skincare. And these probably are ready to go in the bin because I've had them for quite a while, but I just don't feel like I need them. And they were all purchased, as was the, oh, did I purchase this? Yes, I did. I purchased this from Mecca last Christmas. Next is an item that was sent to me, and this is from Becca, and it's their Peach Corrector. I used to correct under my eyes a lot more than I do now. I feel like now we have like better coverage concealers, so I don't always go under there, especially not on a daily. But when I do correct, I correct with with the Bobbi Brown corrector, and the color is a lot more sort of realistic and appropriate for what I need. So that's the Bobbi Brown one, and that's the Becca one. I feel like if I had a lot darker skin, then this probably would work for me, but I don't. So I'm going to probably pass this one along. I think it's still okay. I think this was gifted to me, but I can't recall at this point. You guys know I love IT Cosmetics. Like, I use so many of their products, but this just wasn't something that I find did a great job for me. I feel like there are others on the market that are probably a little bit better. I didn't hate it, but I find that I don't reach for it. And I don't really reach for that many pore fillers these days as well, just generally. But yeah, again, there's nothing wrong with it. I used it quite a few times. It's quite well used, but I can't think of the last time I used it, maybe 6 months. So I'm going to pass that on to someone that will use it, who really enjoys these sorts of products. I don't know what number we're up to, so let's just keep going. So an item that I am getting rid of because they really just, it's something that I never really enjoyed all that much. I did purchase these. These are the Born This Way original concealers, and I had one of them in my project pan all last year, and I tried to use it, but I just didn't enjoy it. I felt like there was not enough coverage. The other one, the Conceal Contour Highlight, whatever it's called, multi-use sculpting concealer. This one's a lot better for me. I do prefer something a little bit more high coverage. So these ones are going into the bin. If I can't use something up in a project pan over 12 months, these are gone. We have one last item that I purchased, and then 2 that were gifted to me. I feel really bad getting rid of this one because it's something that I really, really like the look of, and I swatched it in store and I thought, oh, this is brilliant. It's the Too Faced Natural Lover palette. It's a big palette. Again, look, I think it's a really pretty palette. I think I'm overrun with pretty shadows though at the moment, and I don't even, like, I always pull this out and I swatch it up, and it's a really sort of pretty palette with a lot of natural nude kind of looks able to be made from this. But if I don't use it, I don't use it. It means that I like something else more, and I will sometimes, if I really want a natural kind of looking eye look, which is what I've done today, I just use like a bronzer. I use a bronzer in the socket or in the crease, and then I use something else on the lid. And so this is just a palette that's taking up space, and it's not necessary for me anymore. I will be passing this one along to people. I know my friend Rachel loves this palette, so I feel really guilty, and I might actually offer it to her and see if she wants a backup. But this was gifted to me from Sephora quite a long time ago, or last year I think. This is the Tarte Clay Play palette, and I don't even think I've used it twice. There's nothing, again, wrong with it. It's got 3 little sections here with sort of 3 natural kind of eye looks and 3 bronzer slash contours. It's something that's designed to be used on the face and the eyes, and it's like, there's nothing wrong with it whatsoever. I like Tarte shadows, I like Tarte powders, but I just don't, like, I see this almost every single day, and when I reach into my palette drawer, and I never pull it out, and I don't know why. Perhaps it's because I usually use a shimmer as well, so I'll pick up something that has all the shades in it. But yeah, I just never pick this up, and so I'll pass it on to someone who will really enjoy it, and to me that really sparks joy for me. Lastly is another product that I was gifted, and when I saw it online before I received it, I thought it looked really, really good, and then I did receive it. I actually received it in like a darker shade, and then Rachel, who I just mentioned, received it in the light shade, and so we swapped. But it's the Becca Be a Light palette. Oof, the light is going crazy. Okay, so it's the Becca Be a Light palette, and I really like this shade of blush in there, but that's the only thing that I genuinely love in this palette. So the two larger powders there, they're okay, but I just find they don't do all that much on my skin. They're similar to, like, I swatch them and they look like they're visible, but when I put them on, I don't see anything or feel anything different. I mean, what I do like is they don't make you look powdery, but I don't think they do enough to warrant this big palette. I feel like they're also quite similar to the ambient powders from Hourglass, and I prefer those ones over this one. So I'm gonna get rid of this one again. I'm gonna pass it on to someone who you know, will really appreciate it and who doesn't have as much in their collection, and therefore they'll get some joy out of it, and that in turn gives me joy. And I'm not being sarcastic or like a smart aleck about it, I genuinely do feel like that. So that's the end of this video. I really implore you to go through your collection and pull out stuff. I know it's hard, especially when we've spent good money on these items, and like I said, 3 of these items I think were gifted and the rest I did purchase with my own money. It's a lot of money, particularly these high-end products, but I would much prefer to have a smaller collection of stuff that I love than a huge collection of stuff that's just sitting there for the sake of just having it. Like, I'm trying to get out of that mindset. Like, the first mindset I'm trying to get out of is the one where I buy something because it's on special / that it's, you know, a good, you know, deal. Like, so things like this, just because it's cheap doesn't mean I should buy it if I don't need it. The second thing is not purchasing stuff, and I mentioned this in my first video this year, the second thing is just not purchasing things that I absolutely have no need or want of really, and just to provide content for people, because I don't think that's the right mindset for me either. And lastly, I want to cut out the stuff I don't need, I don't want, and I want to focus on what I already have, so that I don't go out there and purchase the same thing again, or purchase duplicates, you know, in different brands of the same color. I don't want to do that anymore. So I do implore you, go through your own collection, pull out stuff that, you know, you're not using, it's not your favorite. I'm not saying get rid of everything, because I've still got a massive collection, but it just feels good to get rid of stuff because I'm not going to miss it. It's stuff that I never use. So that's that video. I hope that you got a little bit of inspiration to go through some of your collection and get rid of some stuff that you no longer use / need. As usual, thank you so much for coming and spending a little bit of time with me in my little corner of the internet. I'll catch you next time. Bye.